Aruka, take number 2. Record the whole 5 minutes, no mic. That's okay. Alright, so a theme for the week. This is a weekly recap. I'm going to talk about neutral bias. Account progress. Here's my main account, the 157. I started another one on like Tuesday. So that one's 153. I figured, hey, after we pass this one, I'll show another one and it'll be like boom, boom, you know? So earlier in the week, I talked about going long on NASDAQ and shorting the S&P. So I wanted to show that strategy. This is called Adder Sold. It's a funky name. You call it whatever. Aruka Sold. It's the opposite of my Aruka Buy. So green candle, it sells. Green candle sells. There's a couple of funky mishaps, but I'm not too worried about it. This is only during the cash session, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. I talk about that the cash session is a lot of chop, not a lot of big trend moves. If you keep it simple, it's there's ways to make money. This one is not a big performer as far as trying to make money. It's more so for my bias. The results were $316 over 50 days. Has a pretty big drawdown. I'm going to do my normal thing. I'll show you the max MAE, which is $500. So I'd be pretty cautious using this strategy like on size. Let's look at entries. So half hour of the day, I did this in the last video. So if you were going short on the S&P, a good time frame would be 9:30 to 11, and then 12 to about 2. Those would be good lull times to take short profit targets for shorts. Just want to show you guys this. So if you're manual trading or you're creating something on your own, it's like, hey, when is the actual best times for this to work? Just because you have an indicator doesn't mean there's volume, activity, or anything. So that's that. Neutral bias. How to have a neutral bias. It's a difficult thing as a trader. You tend to get good at one thing, whether that's going long or short or using a set of indicators or levels. At the end of the day, to be consistent, we have to not have a bias when we come into the market, or at least have a way to mitigate having a bias. And so this is what I do. I use this short strategy. S&P micro is less volatility and less money per trade. So it's $5 a point. It tends to move at much less than the NASDAQ. So it's like, hey, let's see, give a little test strategy. So if we scroll back, we're going to look over time. And what I really want to highlight is how much chop that the cash session has. The range is typically within the IB, which is your initial, can't even think about it right now. Just went blank, literally. So your IB is your first hour. So it tends to stay within that range. And then I just want to scroll back and show you, see how many days it just stays within the IB or barely goes out. So this is to show you to simplify your trading. Don't get too carried away. Trend days. There's only like one, and I just scrolled like 30 days, 2 trend days. So having a neutral bias is important because you want to, if you're on the side of the trend, you want to know it, right? Whether that's adding in or if you're against the trend, you want to know to make sure you don't buck the trend and lose your account. So if I can have a neutral bias and I can stay within the range, or if I'm a range trader, it's like, hey, how can I recognize when I'm more correct, right? So finding ways to have a neutral bias, this is how I do it, and just something interesting for the week. Again, we're almost there on the 157 account, and we have another one trailing. The goal is to get five accounts running, so you'll see the progress here, and thank you guys. Have a good weekend. Aruka.